Hello again, everybody. I'm Steve Albert. Welcome to another edition of Showtime Championship Boxing. We begin tonight on a very serious note. Here at Showtime, we covered Mike Tyson's last two fights. When he joined us ringside to call the last two fights, he was in the midst of criminal accusation. Now, since he stepped onto the heavyweight scene, this complex and compelling young man achieved a level of recognition and notoriety that transcended sports. Schools of New York by harnessing his natural gift for combat. Those fistic skills transformed him into the youngest world heavyweight champion in history. His brashness and brute power seemed appropriate accessories to his royal status. They also served as a lightning rod to the media and fans. He was forced to live his life in a fishbowl. He became a multi-million-dollar business. And when the architects of his early success passed away, there were others to support him. While personal problems and distractions outside the ring chipped away at his aura of invincibility, the upset loss to Buster Douglas proved that he too was human. The shocking defeat in Tokyo left the boxing world wondering if he could regain his winning ways. Tyson resumed his war on the heavyweight ranks, obsessed with regaining the crown. With boxing's most prestigious prize again within his grasp, Tyson suffered a rib injury in training. More damaging to his career than the injury, however, was the fateful trip to Indianapolis. The career that seemed endangered after Tokyo, that seemed revived after 4 consecutive victories, was in jeopardy due to an accusation of rape. The world watched as Tyson was indicted and convicted. Mike Tyson's powerful fists had propelled him to astounding heights. What remains for him now may be out of his hands. I'm joined now by my partner, the fight doctor, Ferdy Pacheco. You got to know Mike Tyson. Here's a guy who had it all. What do you make of his situation?
Well, it's an old story, you know. The kid that comes out fights so hard to get victory, to get where he wants to go, and then he stumbles and falls. But it's not a new story, and I think the measure of a man's character is how he responds to adversity. It's now up to Mike. He's at a crossroads. He can make something out of this adversity. If he does 3 things, I think he needs professional help in order to sort out his personality difficulties. I think he also should expand his mind. You know, a few months ago when we were doing these shows, I went over to do an interview with him that was going to be 15 minutes at his house. It expanded to about 5 hours of talking about books. I'm not talking about books on boxing. This guy was reading biographies. He was comparing the Slaughter of the Lambs book to the movie. He was very bright and articulate. I enjoyed talking to him, and I thought, what a waste. This guy can really develop his brain. If he can do that, and if he also can maintain the physical abilities that he has, I see no reason why he can't come back and challenge for that which was taken away from him, or which he lost in the ring. I see no reason why he could not once more challenge for that which he was, the heavyweight champion of the whole world.
Well, with that, Ferdy, it's a great pleasure to bring in a special guest commentator on the situation, Phil Berger, noted boxing writer for the New York Times, a Mike Tyson biographer. You were at the trial in Indianapolis. Where does Mike Tyson go from here?
Well, it's now up to the judicial process. You've got lawyers, you've got Judge Gifford, and you've got a prosecutor, and they'll sort that all out in the months to come, and we'll see where that leaves Tyson. It may leave him to go directly to jail. It may leave him at large as the appeal process is played out.
From a boxing standpoint, is Tyson's career over?
Well, again, that's going to be part of the judicial process, and it'll depend on the jail term that he draws, how soon he gets out, and what kind of frame of mind he's in as to whether he wants to fight again or not.
Phil, how about an overview of Mike Tyson's career in your estimation?
Well, Mike Tyson came along at a time the heavyweight division was really almost defunct. There was no life in the heavyweight division, and he brought the passion and a dynamic kind of performance to it that enlivened the heavyweight division, and he really made a name for himself, and the shame is that he's now blackened that name.
And with Tyson out, where does this leave the heavyweight division today?
Well, you know, I got in last night and I ran into Harold Smith, who's Larry Holmes' advisor, and he was saying Holmes and Holyfield, sort of chanting it and telling me that he believes that they're very close to that fight. However, I met Riddick Bowe's manager, Rock Newman, this morning at valet parking, and he says he expects to hear within the next 24 hours whether his man, Riddick Bowe, will get the fight against Holyfield.
Thanks very much, Phil.
My pleasure, Steve.
All right. With Mike Tyson out, the focus now shifts to other heavyweights who are vying for Evander Holyfield's world heavyweight title.